Get a personal video message for yourself or as a gift for someone else. For personal connections, shoutouts, birthdays, proposals, weddings, and much more. Enter your details about yourself so the celebrity can record a personal video message especially for you, including details such as your name, age, birthday, hobbies, or whatever else you include. As soon as the video has been recorded, you'll get an email with your link so you can share it on social media or download and keep it. Celebrities record videos as and when they can, usually within 2 weeks. But if you want a video for a specific date and it does not look like it will arrive in time, you can cancel it and get an instant refund at the click of a button. There are hundreds of celebrities to choose from and many more joining every day. Search by category or genre, buy a gift voucher, get updates and offers, and encourage your favorite celebrities to join so they can connect with fans in a fun and unique way. Raise money for their charities and much more. So order your video now for yourself or for someone else.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 418. I'm here with a good friend of mine, HB Gibson, and I just want to say thank you for accepting my request and being a guest on my talk show.
Thank you very much. It's an honor, sir.
Oh, absolutely. The honor's all mine. And now for people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. But you should never give up. You should prove people wrong. Actually, I keep saying that, but let me do that one more time. The whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. You should never give up and prove people wrong. And you should prove to them labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. You should prove to them you can break the labels. I keep changing out my slogan. Maybe I can make it shorter, but it's a work in progress. But with that being said, and the reason I hesitated is you have a lot of great things in the background, so that caught my interest, and I'm like, okay, well, what's my catchphrase again?
The stuff that I've got behind me is like a culmination of collectibles that I've collected over the years, and I have a subscription to a wonderful company called Loot Crate, and Loot Crate every month it's like a Comic-Con in a box. It comes with T-shirts, it comes with trinkets, it comes with magazines, little statues, little toys, and stuff like that. And I've been collecting for a while, and I said one day, I'm just going to just pile everything up, put it on display, and lo and behold, it turned into my background for my show. So that's how it worked.
That's nice. I'm still working on my background, but it's a work in progress. You have to start from somewhere.
Absolutely.
Now, for you to know, and for our listeners to know, it's a normal conversation, half hour, 36 minutes every time. You can curse, you can look it up, walk around, give us a tour of your place. You can do whatever you want. Freedom of speech and self-expression. Don't mind me, I haven't done my interview so I'm really rusty. But this is my passion, so I need to stop working in retail and focus on my passion.
Absolutely. That's what one day I was working with a couple of people locally, and I had this idea for a show called The Zone.
Yeah.
And I got the idea from watching a young man named Andre called Andre the Black Nerd, or Black Nerd Comedy.
I heard of him.
Yeah, and he has been doing it for like the past 10, 12 years, and it turned into something for him, and he just turned his passion and just got himself in front of the camera and just started doing his thing. And before we knew it, he won. I mean, I even saw him on one of the Sharknado films. He actually had a part in one of the Sharknado films, and he's interviewing actors from the Power Rangers movie. His passion for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Power Rangers and all things Nintendo garnered him connections with people in the entertainment business because of his personality, not being afraid to just come out and just be the nerd that he is and being the nerd that we all are, and people were endeared to his personality. He was being honest, and the camera doesn't lie. When you just go out and just be yourself and talk about the things that you like doing, you'd be surprised the people that you would attract because you're being honest. When you're honest with yourself, people see that, and people, despite the lies that are told, people are attracted to honesty. It's just a natural force. So one day, things didn't really work out with the people that I was working with on The Zone. I did a show called The Zone, and it was filmed on location at a comic book shop. But things did not work out after a few episodes. I had to own my stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, because The Zone was my idea. My very first episode of The Zone was actually filmed in my house a long time ago. I did a news. It was a very, very short news clip. I talked about the upcoming Rogue One film, the upcoming Batman v Superman film. I started talking about all that. And I took that idea to this group. We did it for a little while. We were on location at different comic book conventions, but then things fell apart. Just things fell apart. You have to own your stuff, guys. You got to make sure that your stuff is copywritten. You got to make sure that you sometimes you got to kick that money up to own your label and own your logo and own your business. You got to own it. You have to own it. Because before you know it, you'll share it with somebody, they'll take it and run off with it. So I went ahead and registered the Zone, and now it does belong to me. I'm going to be bringing the Zone back out next year in force. And a friend of mine told me, you don't have to have a place. You don't have to have a giant elaborate place. You don't even have to even go on location for as long as you are engaging, you know how to talk to people, and you know what to do. You do your own show. Find out what you want to talk about, what you're passionate about, get in front of the camera, put your own background here. It don't cost you a thing.
No, absolutely. I don't mean to interrupt. I apologize. But could you repeat yourself one more time? You were cutting in and cutting out. I don't know how strong is the Wi-Fi where you are. Am I cutting in, cutting out?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep, perfect.
All right. To make a long story short, I did a show called The Zone. It was on location at a comic book shop nearby. Things did not work out with the people that I was working with.
Yes, and you said you have to be copyrighted and everything.
Yeah, and
yes.
With the advice of a friend, she told me, get all your collectibles together, put them on some shelves, make that your background. Get whatever it is that you want to talk about in front of you, whether it's news, reviews, or whatever, and make your own show. So while The Zone was going on, I was beginning to become unhappy, and I decided to come up with something called Geeking, Gaming, and Cosplaying with H.B. Gibson. And it all started here with all the stuff behind me. Then when I found that I started to get more views in like a month's time than even the first episode of The Zone. And the one thing people told me was to keep my shows short.
Yeah, that I get
keep it short. Like, try not to go farther than 15 minutes or 20 minutes if possible. So I kept my shows short. I write my scripts. I try to make my points. And by using the advice of that friend. She told me just do your own show. So geeking, gaming, and cosplaying became my baby. Now that I own the zone, I think I'm going to phase out GGC, and this is going to be the zone from now on. But that's my future plans.
No,
but just to let everybody know, you don't have to have I do have a camera, yes. I do have lighting, yes. But all you need is a phone. If your phone takes good video, get yourself a nice background, talk about what you like, and be honest. There you go.
No, absolutely. One request, if you can move back a little bit, it's I don't know off the top of your head.
Yeah.
And I was also gonna say, a couple people in my family were saying to me a couple years ago that I'm not copyrighted, I'm not trademarked. And I went out, I looked on LinkedIn, I found a senior advisor. He's a warrior/senior advisor, and I actually said, I don't really have any money. Can I ask you a couple questions? He said yes. Luckily, he didn't charge me. But
Right.
he said, one, you do not have to be copyrighted because you have an online presence, and you've been
Right.
doing this for a number of years. So
Right.
you're online, everyone knows. You're on Twitter. I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Stage 32, and a couple other sites I've been checking out. And he said to me, kind of trademark, you do not have to be trademarked because you're not making any money. It's $2,000, and all you're doing is putting yourself in a hole. If you were making money, then yes, that would be something. But you're not making money, you don't need that. But the third thing he said to me was my biggest regret. Unofficially, I did over 700 interviews. But officially, thanks to you, we did 418. My biggest regret is I was taking people at their word. And when I first started my show, like you were saying, you need a good phone. Season 1 and 2, what you see on the camera, it's what the camera picked up. So season 1 and 2 were just basically, phone to phone. And a lot of people, said they would do the shows, and then they would slowly back out of it, saying, my agent said, my publicist said, you asked a lot of stupid questions, we don't like the video quality, take it down, we don't want to be seen with people like you. So,
oh man, those people, man. Look, listen, I've run into a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
Run into a lot of people like that. A lot of people that are supposedly big fishes in small ponds. That's what I call them, because they're just their world is small.
Yeah.
And so they know a lot of people. They have connections. Trust me, I see people like that all the time. Well, that guy knows that person. That guy knows, but everybody. From what I've observed, let me make sure that I get my thoughts together.
Yeah, take your time.
From what I've observed with filmmaking, web series, because I'm also an actor in a web series called Body Jumpers Resurrection. It's a sci-fi web series. And I'm just grateful to be acting, because that's another thing that I love doing. I've been acting for about 8+ years off and on. I've been in plays, I've been in films and stuff. And I just do it because I love it. But a lot of these folks, they walk around with these huge egos, and and they make these small-time films that will probably never be seen by a large audience. They're the first people to complain about an actual movie that was actually released. Take for example, Justice League.
Yeah.
I hear so many of these low-level filmmakers who do these low-budget shoestring films, and they have the nerve, and they have these terrible actors on it, and they have the nerve to complain about Justice League and say this, that, and the third. I'm like, Justice League was actually in theaters, okay? Justice League actually did make money. And you're at home with your little camera with these around the way guys and around the way gals that can't act their way out of a paper bag, and you think that you're Scorsese. Get over yourself, man. And I see that a lot, especially at some of these little award shows that I've been at. I've seen the egos. The Body Jumpers Resurrection only recently won. Actually, it's won best web. It's an award-winning show. We've won awards over the years. The Euro Online Film Awards, the Hip Hop Film Awards. We recently got Best Web Series and Best Special Effects at the Urban Actors Showcase, which is sponsored by Cinemax and HBO. And that was definitely a pleasure to do because a lot of action stars were actually there. Michael Jai White was there. The actor that played the Centipede, #1 from the Five Deadly Venoms, was there. So many great actors are going to be, and next year Wesley Snipes is supposed to be there, and they're going to be celebrating the 30th anniversary of Blade, and they do have celebrities in the house, but the problem is the egos are still huge.
No, I give you. No, go ahead. No, I give you like a perfect example. When I first started my talk show about, say, 4.5 years ago, I was called Uncensored. And I recently was interviewed on the Beach Corner in Van Air, Canada. And she's like, we're doing the script over, okay, I'm going to ask you this question, I'm going to ask you that question. Yeah. And she mentioned Uncensored, and I said, no disrespect, but I don't go by that name anymore. And she asked me why. And for people out there, basically, long story short, when I started my talk show, I liked, WWE. And I liked WCW. WCW, NWO presents Halloween Havoc, or WWE Raw presents Swim Gym, or whatever. So I always thought, hey, I have the Keith Andrew Network. Wouldn't it be cool to say KeithAndrewNetwork.com presents Uncensored?
Right.
So I did a couple interviews, and that's when I was taking people at their word and everything before I rebranded myself.
Right.
And I came across this one actress. She was a bitch at the time, but I did apologize. I did extend my hand to her in friendship, saying, look, I'm handicapped. I'm retarded. And I overstepped. I made a mistake. I know Uncensored can be used for anybody. I just took it personally because I was working on myself, saying, this is I was in the box. Like you were saying, when you were doing your video, people have to think outside the box.
Right.
But I was like, Uncensored, Keith Andrew Network, this is my thing. And I was getting annoyed because people are like, this is uncensored, that's uncensored. And she created her own talk show on my concept, saying this is uncensored on blah, blah, blah. I called her a hypocrite, an asshole, saying, I just told you yesterday about my show, now you're using it for yourself. Mm-hmm. And as 2 weeks went by, I apologized, saying, I have a disability. I'm mentally challenged. I didn't mean any disrespect. It's just I was working on it. And like I've been doing for the past 4.5 years, every single day. So I took offense when she took the show for herself. Right. And I know now it was stupid what I did. But Uncensored could be used for me, could be used for you. But going back to what I was saying to the Warrior Senior Advisor, he said to me, your biggest mistake, and I don't care if anyone takes my show, because they don't have this. I have 5 of these, and everything inside are permission forms. So you can say, oh, hey, I came up as the Keith Andrew Network, and you'll be like, okay, do you have any proof? Where's your permission forms? Do you have any pictures? Where's your videos? So I make sure I box myself in. I do everything right now. So basically, and yes, I did. I did over 700 interviews, but it's like this. When I first did my show, I did 300.
Yeah.
And I was taking people at their word. And that's when, my sister said to me, "You're not copyrighted, you're not trademarked." And the
Right.
lawyer said to me, "Your biggest mistake is you're not getting permission forms."
Right.
And so I went back, I asked all 300 people, "Do I have your permission?" Wrote up a form. "Here's my name. Here's what the show's about. Do I have your permission to use the interview?" 200 said yes, 100 said no. Okay, so I had to swallow the 100. And at the same time, I was like, you know what? Screw it. I don't like the name Uncensored anymore. I want something else. And I was like, well, I have the Keith Andrew Network. I might as well use that. I'm paying for the name.
Yeah.
And I'm like, might as well use the name. So now I'm the Keith Andrew Network. And the theme of the shows is uncensored. And what that means is freedom of speech, freedom of self. I'm stuttering because part of my disability. I apologize.
Yeah, sorry.
But it's the theme of it. It's freedom of speech, freedom of self-expression. You can say anything you want, talk about whatever you want. And yes, my show is about disabilities, but I'm showing you, hey, look at this person who learns and reads at a 5th grade level. He never went to college, and people said he was never going to amount to anything. Look at what he was able to do on its own.
I'm a big fan of that. I've seen videos of people that have done some really extraordinary things in spite of.
Yeah.
I've seen a guy in a wheelchair doing these amazing like pull-ups and behind the neck pull-ups, lifting weights, just doing their thing. I saw a person with no arms and no legs surfing. I've seen a guy that whose legs were wrecked from paratrooping, and he started doing yoga. I think it was Diamond Dallas Page's yoga.
Yeah, DDP.
Yeah, and he couldn't run at first because he was always on crutches, and before you know it, he was running. He was taking off. So I call that the Harold B. Gibson file of no excuses. So if like I tell people, if you want to do a show on YouTube, you get yourself a phone, get some good lighting, get a background, get a subject, and start going for it. I thank God that I have a wonderful fiance that helped me get some cameras and some lights and some editing equipment. Now my production level gone up a little bit. But you don't have to wait to get great cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
You can do it with your phone. Just set the phone, you just set it upright, get some, get a good, if you don't have good lighting in your room, just get a bunch of lamps. They can see your face. Get a good subject and be honest with people, and you can have your own show.
It's funny you should say that. And in the beginning, my brother said to me, "Why don't you use Skype Recorder?" And I could have, but I wanted to show you over the 4 years. Yes, I could have done it what I'm doing right now, but the point is, you wouldn't see a growth. You wouldn't see a transition over the years. Like I said, Season 1, I was recording from here. Season 2 was the camera was recording from the computer screen. Then later on, after he told me, I found Skype Recorder. Now it's cut in half. I'm on the right, or if you like to interview me, you're on the left, and we can flip it. So basically, I wanted to show you, with no help whatsoever, look at what I created. And like I said, actors, actresses, models, CEOs, professional wrestlers, dancers, cheerleaders, teachers. Unfortunately, no firefighters or police officers would want to be on my show, and I respect that. With whatever you want to do. But I got 2 guys from the Army, from the Marines. They told me some funny stories, some stories they can't, because out of respect from their commission or crew where they were part of. I interviewed people with disabilities. I interviewed people without disabilities.
Yeah.
I interview cat lovers. I interview dog lovers. But I'm pretty much showing you that if you give me an opportunity, I'm going to turn that into something. And
Right.
you asked me before we went on the air why I approached you. It's because I like to refer myself as like Bill Maher, Bill O'Reilly, how the whole setup, but I also like to be myself. You know,
Right.
this is not a face, this is not a mask I'm wearing, I'm not bullshitting to you.
Right.
I'm being myself, and you just say, hey, here's a camera, show me what you've got. And I can do that, but the problem is I always get criticized, and I feel like I'm being handcuffed because I feel like, okay, now people see me do this, but yet when they see me in person, I'm more not the same. If that
Right.
makes any sense, I have two personalities.
Yeah. That's what I think that's people in media anyway, and people who perform, and people who are on television. I mean, Michael Jackson has just been known to when he gets on stage, he becomes a completely different person. But when you in person, he's very, very shy. So you know how to turn it on and then turn it off. It doesn't mean that you're fake or phony or anything like that. It's just that when you're on camera, you're on. That's it.
One thing I do want to say, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I'm going to pass the show over to you for the last 12 minutes.
Okay.
418, here's a good friend of mine, HB, and
Hey.
the last 12 minutes, I'm going to pass it over to you. Was there anything you wanted to promote, talk about, say to me? This is your time.
Okay, I'm gonna promote myself real fast. I have a channel on YouTube. It's HB Gibson. I have a couple of shows on there. One is called The X Zone, which is a geek-based variety show. Most of it is on location. It's what has an emphasis on cosplay. I have another show which is more of a YouTuber show. You'll see this background right here. It's called Geekin', Gaming, and Cosplaying with HB Gibson. I talk about various geek-based subjects. The last episode that I did was a non-spoiler live video about The Last Jedi, and before that was a non-spoiler. And I think my favorite episode to date is an episode all about the Punisher, because I do a little mock trailer for a character that I mashed up called the Punichu. It's Pikachu and Punisher mixed together. So if you want to see that episode, check it out. It's on Geekin', Gaming, and Cosplaying with HB Gibson on the HB Gibson channel on YouTube. I'm also an actor on a show called Body Jumpers Resurrection. You can find that on YouTube as well. It's called The Body Jumpers. It's a sci-fi web series about a female superhero, and I play what I would consider to be a cross between Martian Manhunter and Nick Fury. His name is Agent Darius. He's an agent from another planet. He's like an alien U.S. Marshal, and he comes to the aid of a woman named Sonya Rain, who finds something called a nanotech biosuit, a suit that was made for my people, but she's wearing it. She's a human being, so I have to guide her because the suit is attached to her, basically. Yeah. So I'm teaching, my character is guiding her and teaching her on how to use a suit. And another show called H&R Movie Talk. Myself and Robert McIntosh, RT Mac. H&R Movie Talk. H&R Movie Talk has their own channel. We have our own channel, H&R Movie Talk on YouTube. So I have a project coming up, a fan film. A friend of mine named Kendrick Gray has cast me as John Jones, Martian Manhunter. And by the way, it's incredible, right? It's going to probably be the biggest fan film as far as cast of characters. He's going for the record of the number of DC characters in one DC fan film. We have pretty much every major DC character is going to be in it. So that's basically it. So check me out, HB Gibson on YouTube, and H&R Movie Talk also on YouTube, and The Body Jumpers on YouTube.
You know, I do have a couple questions for you off the air.
Sure.
But while on the subject, you're talking about how many heroes you can have in a DC film. Have you ever seen Justice League Unlimited? I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but
Yeah, Justice League Unlimited. That's probably like my favorite because I got to see so many. I guess you would call B-lister and C-lister DC characters. The one character I was so fascinated by was the Vigilante, because he's a cowboy. You know what I mean? He's basically a cowboy. Called him the Vigilante, and I was like, wow, I like this guy. You know.
my favorite, and I don't know why they cut the season short. You can get 10 seasons if they did it right. Each character can have their own story, but I liked Dr. White.
Yeah.
Not Mega Man, but the woman, Dr. White.
Dr. Light, yes.
I found she was very interesting.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to. Well, actually, the DC fan film that's being written and directed by Kendrick Gray. It has over like I'm thinking about like 20. He's trying to cast 20 different heroes, and I think he did cast it. Not trying to. He did, and I originally put in for Darkseid, but then he went and casted somebody for Darkseid. I was like, okay, all right. But then I sent him a message and I said, well, Kendrick, if you think about it, in future projects, if you do another DC film, I would like to put my bid in for Martian Manhunter. And don't you know, a couple of days later, he sent me a message and he said, Harold, would you like to play Martian Manhunter? I was like, yes! And on Instagram and on Facebook and on Twitter, and I was like, yeah! I said, man, you are going to have the largest cast of superheroes in a superhero fan film. And that's what he's going for. He's going for the record.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Yep.
Now, wrapping up our talk show, I do have a couple questions off the air. But going on the record, yeah, I'm a big fan of Bell Rowley, so going on the record, when I first approached you, I can think straight. When I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction and what made you say yes?
Okay, I said, you know what? There could be nobody asking me anything. Just like, you know, no one, if you don't make the step to making your dreams come true, it's just going to sit there. And, you know, when people will say, oh, well, you know, you can't do this, or you can't do that, or you'll start feeling down on yourself saying, I can't do this, or I can't do that. If you don't make the step, you're not going to get anything done. And people will say, oh, well, you're just this, or you're just that. So, well, you know what? At least I'm doing something. I take it like anybody who wants to take the time to interview me, I find that to be a privilege. I don't care if it's this or who's doing late night talk show these days. I don't even watch late night.
I think like Coley O'Brien.
Conan, what's the difference between you and Conan O'Brien, except for the fact that maybe there might be a little bit of money? Yeah. Nothing. There's no difference between you and Conan O'Brien at all. I find it a pleasure that anybody would want to take the time to interview me, so that way I can get a chance to give out some positivity to you and your audience and give them good advice and just let the positivity go all around. And my word is, don't sit on your gift, work it.
Yeah, absolutely. Wrapping up our talk show. It was a real honor and privilege to have you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.
Absolutely, man. It was my honor. Thank you so much.